Ah, Venice. Famed for its culture, its art, its historic architecture, and of course, its canals. But this month, those canals broke their banks, leaving tourists in a frolic, but locals in despair.
Tutte le persone si divertono, solo che è un grosso problema per I veneziani.
Venice experienced 3 exceptional high tide events in November, and while flooding here is not uncommon, this was unprecedented. At its peak this month, water hit 1.87 metres. That's the highest in 53 years, and the second highest ever.
Qui sono giorni che siamo in emergenza e la gente non ce la fa più.
Overall, floodwaters have over the last century become consistently higher. And now the Mayor of Venice, Luigi Brugnaro, says the city is on its knees. These events have been catastrophic. The value of the damage is expected to be in the billions. The famed San Marco Basilica was flooded for just the 6th time in 1200 years. But what exactly is happening here? What's causing Venice to flood? And can it be stopped? To understand what's happening in Venice, we need to look at the complex geographic structures surrounding it. The Venetian lagoon is bordered by islands, with only several narrow channels open to the Adriatic Sea. A key climatic factor that contributes to the lagoon flooding actually starts way down in northern Africa. The Scirocco winds, hot air originating over the Sahara Desert, pushes up into the Mediterranean. Here, it mixes with the cooler oceanic air that then thrusts wind up into southern Europe. As they make their way up the Adriatic, the Scirocco winds combine with cooler winds from Eastern Europe. When these winds that peak in March and November are combined with high tides, they stop water from leaving the lagoon and cause the acqua alta, or high waters, that are now plaguing Venice. But there's more to it than wind. The mean sea level around Venice is estimated to be more than 20 centimetres higher than it was a century ago, a problem attributed to climate change. The city, built on mud and marsh, is also estimated to be sinking by about 1 millimetre every year, in part due to decades of industry pumping water from an aquifer beneath the lagoon, a practice that was banned in the 1970s. The construction of ports and other structures along the coast of the mainland have also restricted the natural flow of water in the lagoon and prevented a natural sponge effect that used to accumulate water along the coast. So now, Venice is expected to experience more extreme flooding events, and just how the city plans to fend them off is the subject of heated debate. But there is one potential saviour. This is Mose, an acronym but also fittingly the Italian word for Moses. Like the biblical character, these gates are designed to part the seas. It's a type of retractable seawall, built along the 3 main entry points to the Venetian lagoon. In theory, it's a great idea. The walls rise only in times of need, and don't blight the landscape or impede the flow of water in and out of the lagoon for extended periods. But the project, first proposed in 1988, has been plagued by price blowouts and corruption. Eventually that saw Venice's last mayor charged and resign along with a slew of other officials. It's not yet up and running, and it isn't expected to be until at least 2022. The original cost estimate of $3 billion has blown out to over $9 billion. The gates would only be raised for tides above 1.1 metres. But any surge above 80 centimetres would still see water over the ground in key spots like San Marco Plaza. So Venetians aren't putting all that much faith in Mose.
Delle risorse per strutture del tutto inutili, cioè dei buchi nei buchi neri di denaro dove il denaro entra e non serve a nulla.
This city has seen wars, plagues and destruction in the past, but it's always survived. And despite the challenges, its people are determined to find a solution.
No, ma noi siamo veneziani, nati a Venezia, gran parte del personale è veneziano, quindi basta con Venezia, mai.
But this fight is one that's only just begun, with the Venice Institute of Marine Sciences only expecting the situation to worsen. The city needs a solution if it wants to survive like it has for centuries to come.